quick warning, again, squeamish, might want to stay away here. Just, potentially.
I talked about Reanimator at 15 being formative and impressionable upon me. Well, imagine a 14-year-old watching From Beyond. That was weird. So we had a film with some of the most impressive and transformative cinematography of a lesser budgeted production, outstanding practical effects, wizardry, hypnotizing performances from Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton, and Ted Sorrell, and this horrifying fusion of Lovecraft, sexual energy, parasitism, mutation, and disease. But what is healthy and normal? Isn't it all natural? And what is submerged beneath a human personality? What hides under the veneer of stability and adjustment? Lustful hunger, pure instinct, and the pleasure principle. A more psychoanalytic Freudian take on Lovecraft than anything I've seen or read prior. I don't know if Lovecraft had much interest in or even took it all to Freud in his lifetime. It certainly seems that sex was not a prioritized theme in his literature, and it is imaginable that some of his Lovecraft's fans took resultant issue with From Beyond as an adaptation. I will admit, whilst many films that took Freudian ideas in the 20th century are, in my opinion, extraordinary films, I also think that the application of Freud's or psychoanalytic ideas onto film during the 20th century, and certainly beyond it, was and is, in and of itself, vastly overrated and not intrinsically impressive. And why would it be? Freud's legacy, insofar as his clinical heritage in the study of mental health is ignored and his own obtusely dated principles are considered, inspires the most abject misogyny, nihilism, and behaviourist sociopathy, which really brings down this century thus far. Freud's insistence that one doesn't know what they are really thinking and that people are only speaking in denial of their true motivations, except the psychoanalysts conveniently, this idea is deeply tyrannical and, certainly in Freud's context, completely unprovable and subsequently unfalsifiable. Freud's theorizing of the unconscious, whether it was vaguely similar or prototypical of a contemporary neuroscientific understanding today or not, was, in its blanketing and binary state, a dream come true for totalitarian governments. Seriously, that's such a dangerous notion to potentially take on, even if we found neurological truths to the subconscious. Remember, Freud and psychoanalysis operate in a time before neuroscientific understanding, and those who clamour about Freud and psychoanalysis now have chosen to dismiss empirical science in favour of unfalsifiable speculation. I'll get psychoanalytic on you. Would one be cynical and claim the existence of a subconscious lizard brain futility in all of humanity if there wasn't some pleasurable or ego-affirming validation about that prospect? Somehow, I don't think so. The personal, selfish, pleasurable incentive to believe in a purely atheistic, materialistic, cold and clinical philosophy is understated, but very real, and possibly at least as common as its polar counterpart, believing in optimistic delusions for the sake of motivation. Anyway, From Beyond is, in my opinion, a masterpiece and the finest film based upon Lovecraft's work up to that point in time, possibly even stronger than Fulci's The Beyond or The House by the Cemetery. I would go so far as to say that this was the finest film ever released, directed by the great and imaginative, empowering and extraordinary Stuart Gordon. How the film transforms the space of this house on a suburban street, it's absolutely... it's so absorbing. You know, the feeling of what, like, that particular room in the house becomes and how it affects the other rooms in the house, and the feeling one has when you're standing outside the house and about to go back in it, or when you've just come out of the house finally at the end and everything seems to be finally gone and, you know, all better now, but, you know, you can't really... just like Barbara Crampton's character, you can't really leave the house, then the madness, you know, sticks onto her. Man, it's an extraordinarily powerful filmic and atmospheric work. To me, like, this is somewhat unsung genius. The entire film, unless one is really squeamish or snobbish about this sort of genre / film, I sincerely cannot recommend it enough. I think it's genius. I really, really do. And if you don't, maybe you're a square. No, you're not a square. Still, though, you are missing out.